Hello everyone! Everyone knows that Michael Jackson was an outstanding musician and a legend. There are still rumors about his life, and even after many years, his music keeps conquering people's hearts. Michael was gone in the summer of 2009, but he inscribed his name in history well before that. Today's video is all about the secrets of his life that only few people know about. Let's get it on. Bubbles. Michael Jackson was very fond of animals, but he had a special relationship with a pet chimp named Bubbles. The singer bought it at a Texas research center in the 1980s. Bubbles often traveled with Jackson, making the image of the king of pop even more memorable.
I'm very happy to have you visit the City Hall. In spite of the very busy type schedule of the Japan tour. And
who else would even think of bringing a chimpanzee with him? It's not a hamster after all. For a while, Bubbles lived on the Neverland Ranch, where he slept in a crib in Michael's bedroom, used his toilet, ate at the dinner table, and was basically a family member. Jackson even claimed that Bubbles helped him with his chores. The housekeepers didn't agree though. The chimpanzee made more mess than help, they said. As he grew older, Bubbles became a big, aggressive adult chimp and had to be taken to an animal shelter. Michael missed his pet very much, and the chimp was sad too. At least that's what zoologists say. Today, 35-year-old Bubbles lives in a sanctuary in Florida. Spider-Man. Everyone knows that Michael Jackson was very gifted. He was a singer, a songwriter, an amazing dancer, an actor. But can you imagine him as Spider-Man? Apparently, it was his dream. In an interview with Stan Lee, the creator of many Marvel comics, revealed that he'd met Michael several times. One day, Jackson asked for a meeting and told Stan he wanted to be Spider-Man.
He wanted to be Spider-Man, to buy the rights to Spider-Man. I think he wanted to play the part of Peter Parker. He never said that, but I gathered that. When I told him I didn't think the company would sell it, he then wanted to buy Marvel. I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously he didn't buy Marvel, but he wanted to very much.
We can only speculate on why the deal never took place. Who knows? If everything had worked out successfully, maybe the famous Peter Parker would have been played not by Tobey Maguire, but by the king of pop. Could you picture that? Rare disease. Some people think Michael felt ashamed of his origins and spent his whole life trying to change his appearance. He did have plastic surgery on his face more than once, but the changes of color in his skin were caused by a rare disease. In 1984, Jackson was diagnosed with vitiligo, a condition that causes white spots on the skin. In addition, he suffered from lupus. This made Jackson's skin very sensitive to sunlight. At first, there were only a few vitiligo spots, so he could simply cover them up, but over time the patches covered most of his skin, and the artist began hiding the dark spots. This was revealed only on the 10th of February 1993 during an interview with Oprah Winfrey.
I have a skin disorder. It's a problem for me, okay? I can't control it. I am proud of my race. I am proud of who I am. I'm proud to be a Black American.
Before that, Jackson and his producers kept the information about his diseases a secret. Moonwalker. Michael Jackson was not only a musician, an actor, and a philanthropist, he was also the star of several video games. The first one was released in 1989. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is a cross-platform video game based on the movie Moonwalker. The arcade version is quite simple and slightly absurd even. A villain named Mr. Big kidnaps all the children on Earth. But Michael Jackson finds out about his plans. The hero must find and rescue the kidnapped children. The computer version was slightly different though. Jackson had to find and save only one girl. Today, these games seem pleasantly old school, but at the time, Moonwalker wasn't a big hit. His own amusement park. Michael Jackson was famous. He made a lot of money, and he could afford anything. He once bought a ranch in California, paying something around $16.5 to $30 million according to various estimates. Later, the land was named Neverland, after Peter Pan's homeland. He was actually Michael's favorite character. On the estate, about 5 times the size of Monaco, Michael built an amusement park and opened a private zoo. By the way, actor Macaulay Culkin helped him out with this. It was also Michael's residence. He spent $120,000 monthly to maintain the estate, and after the star's death, it all fell into disrepair. There were no more attractions in the park and no more animals in the zoo. In 2015, the ranch was put up for sale for $100 million, but nobody was interested. They lowered the price, and today you can purchase Neverland for $31 million. According to the real estate agents, nothing has changed at the ranch except for the price. The most expensive music video in history. Michael is the best at many things. For example, one of his video clips is the most expensive music videos in the world. The song Scream was released as a protest against the invasion of his privacy and media backlash. Jackson performed it with his sister Janet, and their collaboration resulted in a Grammy nomination. Of course, such a cool song needed an awesome video. It was filmed by director Mark Romanek. Later, he recounted, "We wouldn't go to the spaceship location, so we just had to build one." Well, when you can spend $7 million on a music video, building a spaceship is a piece of cake. It took them 2 weeks to set up the scenery. In the black and white sci-fi video, Michael and Janet just have fun aboard their personal spaceship, and it looks really cool. The King of Africa. If you say the King of Pop, everyone will think of Michael Jackson. Actually, he was granted this title quite unexpectedly, thanks to his longtime pal, actress Elizabeth Taylor. She called him the King of Pop, Rock and Soul at the 1989 Soul Train Music Awards ceremony, and since then he's been proving he deserved this title.
The true king of pop, rock and soul, Mr. Michael Jackson!
But few people know that in addition to being the King of Pop, Jackson had another royal title, a real one. In 1992, during his visit to Africa, Michael was welcomed by a huge crowd of fans. In Gabon, over 100,000 people greeted him, some of them with signs that read, "Welcome, Michael." During his trip to the Ivory Coast, Jackson was crowned the King of the Saint-Louis. He thanked everyone for this honor in French and English, signed the documents for his kingship, and sat on the golden throne for real. Anti-gravity shoes. In one of Michael's most famous videos, Smooth Criminal, the singer, along with his dancers, shows a very unusual move that literally defies all the laws of physics. He leans forward at an angle of 45 degrees. For the video, Michael and the dancers used hidden ropes to help them get upright, but then Jackson came up with another solution. He created special anti-gravity shoes. A slot in the heel engaged with a peg, which made it possible to do the trick even when performing live. Thanks to the invention, Michael and his dancers could perform this move on various stages around the world. Moreover, the King of Pop even patented his invention, and you can find it in the official register. Scarecrow.
Thank you, and good luck.
In 1978, the musical adventure film The Wiz, based on the novel The Wizard of Oz, was released. This was Michael's first appearance on the big screen. He performed the role of Scarecrow.
Maybe he could get you a brain. Indications are it would be very advantageous for me to join.
Diana Ross and Richard Pryor starred as well. It was on the set of this film that Michael met music director Quincy Jones, his future producer. It's hard to see the Michael Jackson we know behind the costume and all this makeup. Would you be able to recognize him? Injuries. Sadly, he had more accidents than you might think. For example, in 1979, Jackson broke his nose while performing a dance move. This caused him breathing problems, so Michael turned to a surgeon. That was the first time he had a rhinoplasty. Another unpleasant incident took place on the 27th of January 1984. Michael and the other Jacksons were shooting a Pepsi commercial when something really unexpected happened. Michael's hair caught fire due to a mistake of the pyrotechnicians. He received second-degree burns and had to undergo a long treatment. Pepsi paid the artist $1.5 million, which Michael donated to charity. By the way, in numerous interviews, Jackson confessed he underwent rhinoplasty only to fix his breathing problems after the accident, although his appearance changed significantly throughout his career. Hyperbaric sleep chamber. Michael was obsessed with his appearance, which sparked a lot of rumors. For instance, some people believed and still believe that the king of pop music slept in a hyperbaric chamber. Why, you ask? Well, to live hundreds of years and more. Jackson allegedly said something like that in an interview. He used an oxygen chamber in a hospital where he was treated for burns and wanted to purchase the same equipment for personal use. It's just a myth though. The truth is much less fantastic. The singer donated a large sum of money to create a burn center for children. At the inauguration, Jackson was asked to get into an oxygen chamber for patients with severe body burns, which he did. These images were used to set up yet another myth about the king of pop, supposedly being so obsessed with his appearance that he spent every night in an oxygen chamber. However, the only time Michael ever got into it was at that opening of the center.